We live. We live. What parts of Jersey we got in here? Ike, what up? AJ, what up? What parts of Jersey we got in here? What parts of Jersey we got in here? Hey, shouts to South Jersey. Gym Rats, what's the word? What parts of Jersey we got? Okay, Bay, South Jersey in here heavy. Bergen County. Rahway, shouts to Union County, man. No, wait. That's Somerset County, no? June 6th. Who got next? Appreciate y'all tapping in to Hoop Recruit Radio. Let me go ahead and tap my my co-host in. Like I said, welcome to the first formal episode of Hoop Recruit Radio. We got my guy, the one and only.
Yeah, Mr. We're ready Siroty. To go. Episode 1, we're ready to get going.
Is that some drip you got on there? What kind of shirt is that?
Oh yeah, basketball jersey shirts, always.
I like that. I like that a lot. But like I said, first formal episode of Hoop Recruit Radio. Got my guy Mike Siroty. Originally met him at the Northeast Classic a few weeks ago, or a little over a month ago. Followed up with me a couple of times. Showed a lot of initiative, a lot of interest in developing a podcast. We got on the phone, and I pretty much said, why not? So, here we are. Mike, definitely been great building with you over the past couple of weeks. Obviously, you and I know each other, but there's probably a lot of people out there that don't know you. So why don't you take the opportunity to introduce yourself? Say a little bit about yourself, etc.
Yeah. So before we get going, I'm excited to go for episode 1. I'm a sophomore in high school. I love basketball, love New Jersey, and then you put them together, and then we have New Jersey basketball. So I'm excited to go episode 1.
Absolutely. And again, appreciate you, expressing interest when you told me how old you were, 16. I was really impressed, not only because of your initiative, but again, also based on the work that I've seen you done before. So welcome, Michael. Definitely looking forward to having you as a co-host. Like I said, first formal episode of Hoop Recruit Radio. We're going to kind of use this as a platform to, talk basketball, current events, do some interviews, some hot takes, which we'll get to eventually. But just, so everyone has an idea of what to expect. Again, we'll get together once a week, Mondays, probably 7 o'clock. Again, talk through current events, pretty much everything going on, not only in the basketball world, but more specifically like the New Jersey basketball world. So today we've got the pleasure of Dominick Barlow, who's currently playing for the New York Wrens, just finished up at Dumont High School out of Bergen County. We're going to chop it up with him in 10 minutes or so. But again, in terms of expectations, we're going to be doing interviews. We'll turn this into a podcast. And again, just use it as a platform to, continue to cultivate the community. So I guess with that being said, Mike, maybe we could start with the current events. So as you guys may have seen, we just dropped the Hoop Recruit Radio playlist, Volume 1. Got a lot of really good feedback on that. Mike, you had mentioned that there were a couple of songs, or maybe one song in particular, that you liked off that. Was that right?
Oh yeah, Straightening always gets you excited, especially with basketball. And I saw you like that one too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The whole playlist gets you excited.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. And if y'all haven't had a chance to do so yet, make sure y'all check out the Hoop Recruit Radio page, which I commented in the pinned comment. And the playlist is currently available on Apple Music. So again, make sure y'all check out that. We'll probably drop like one a month. Also, let's see, before we get to the let's see. Also, the merch. Obviously, my guy Mike's got the shirt on. We just did the merch Monday, which we dropped earlier today. If y'all haven't had a chance to do so yet, make sure y'all take advantage of that 20% discount on njhooprecruit.com. Get y'all merch. Am I missing anything, Mike? Anything else on the current event side of things?
No, I just have to emphasize the merch. New stuff came, the acid washed shirts and hoodies.
Absolutely.
So use this day to get your 20% off.
Absolutely. But yeah, just got back to Jersey yesterday after a weekend in VA. I know you and I were talking through just some reactions and just thoughts on the Hoop Group Southern Jam Fest. Did you have a chance to check any of the games or any of the recaps, anything of that nature, Mike?
I had to be tuned in. Amani Bates making his debut with Team Final. I know there was a lot of buzz going on between the two top prospects in the country, between Bates and Jalen Duren. But Justin, you saw it in person. What was that atmosphere like, just seeing Team Final go to work?
Yeah, no, it was I mean, the atmosphere, the quality of basketball on the court. It was a great weekend. Shout outs to my guy Eric Hessler, obviously Hoop Group. But night one was definitely the cherry on top. Amani's first game with Team Final, Jalen Duren. He had announced it, I want to say Thursday, and the first showcase either Wednesday or Thursday. The first game was Friday, and I mean, talk about standing room only. Like literally, the entire bleachers were covered, like behind the benches. People were just like mobbed up. Probably the most active crowd I've seen post, and not that we're past COVID, but in the midst of the pandemic. But environment was crazy. Had a chance to see obviously Team Final. There were a handful of other Jersey programs that were out there. Team Rio, New Jersey Legacy, New Jersey Scholars, among others. So definitely a good time.
And we'll get more into Team Rio, part of the Under Armour circuit. So there's a lot to discuss about Nike versus Under Armour, but we'll hold that off. We'll get some reactions and questions from other people regarding that topic. So we have only a few minutes until we'll get Dominick Barlow in here. But Justin, we just have to keep going on about the Southern Jam Fest.
Yeah.
Aaron Bradshaw from New Jersey Scholars just received an offer from Seton Hall. He's the teammate of 5 stars, especially DJ Wagner, number 1 in the country. But what did you see from Aaron Bradshaw, the 7-footer playing at Camden?
Yeah, it's funny with Aaron because I went to a lot of I'd heard about Aaron for like the last year or so, but never actually had a chance to see him play with my own eyes. And going down to the Camden games, I was looking forward to seeing him play down there as well. He didn't have a chance to play this season, but just seeing his growth over the past few weeks, I think this past weekend was definitely that again, that cherry on the top moment. In my opinion, it was probably his best showing to date. Played with a lot more confidence, high motor. I don't know if you had a chance to check the live stream, but the last game against Team Takeover, I think he actually hit 2 threes, which was a bit of a moment for people that know him, just to see again how far his game's gone. But he's a kid. He's a kid who he's literally just scratching the surface, not only in terms of his potential, but also in terms of his true ability. So I saw a lot of good things from him. He was rebounding the ball at a high level, protecting the rim. Like I said, hit 2 really big threes against Team Final in that quarterfinal matchup with the Scholars versus Team Takeover. Oops, sorry. But no, I mean, he showed the full package. Again, protected the rim, offensively, just doing the little things like, making his layups and finishing at the rim. But I saw a lot of good. So definitely looking forward to seeing him, continue to build off of that weekend.
So while we wait for Dominick Barlow, just a couple more minutes until we'll bring him in for a live interview. Justin, you got a chance to see all of NJ's scholars go to work. Aaron Bradshaw, just one of the top players on that team. They have Mackenzie Abaco, DJ Wagner. What was the full team like stepping away from just Aaron Bradshaw?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because the common theme with the team, and I had the chance to see them last weekend in addition to this weekend, but this past weekend. But the common theme was just, everybody seemed to have, built off of where they were at the end of last tournament. Kwadir Copeland, he's been a great add for the Scholars, takes a lot of pressure off of DJ and Sion, exceptional ball handler, amazing playmaker. I mean, his vision, he's light years ahead in terms of his vision and his playmaking and, being one step ahead. In my opinion, probably one of the best passers in his class. But, Kwadir Copeland, Sion Medley, he played fairly well. Devin, I don't know his last name, and I apologize about that, but the lefty from Camden, he hit some really big threes this weekend. I think this was his second weekend playing with the Scholars. Obviously, DJ Wagner, he continued to build off of his spring campaign. He had a really solid weekend. And I'd say my favorite game, although they lost, my favorite game was the Scholars versus Team Takeover game. And I'll actually have that. I'll have that replay up on my YouTube tomorrow. But again, Devin, everybody played up. I don't know all the guys' names off the top of my head, but the team as a collective, they showed up, played a lot better, and look really promising heading into the into the spring/summer. But let me see. I think we have Dominick. I think we have Dominick in the lobby. So I'll tell you what. Let's take a break from the current events and tap my guy Dominick Barlow in. There he is.
Yo.
What's good, brother?
Nothing much, man.
Everything good?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you taking some time out to connect with us. You're somebody I've had the chance to get to know a little better over the past year or so. I think it started out with just like cell phone quality videos that you were sending me, crazy like viral videos that you were sending me. And, fast forward to this season, I had a chance to come up to Dumont, see you play with my own eyes. Saw you play a couple of weeks ago over in New York. Obviously currently playing with the Wrens, going to be reclassing to the class of 2022. And your name's been buzzing. So again, appreciate you taking some time out to connect with us.
Of course, bro.
Yeah, so Dominick, we'll get started. Justin just said your name is buzzing around. You were just recently named a 3-star recruit, top 10 in New Jersey. What does that mean to you?
I mean, it's just like, to be honest, I'm the same person that I was probably before I was ranked and everything. But, it feels cool to be recognized, knowing the hard work's paying off. I'm not gonna lie and say oh, it don't it means a little bit, but it's not gonna define who I am at the end of the day.
Word. Now, Dom, I heard a few rumors. Like I said, I've only had a chance to get to know you over the past year. But prior to last season, to give us a little bit of insight into your basketball background, I'd heard that you used to play football prior to your junior year primarily. Is that true?
Yeah. I always played basketball. I would say basketball is probably my primary sport, but my sophomore year, basketball, it wasn't really going anywhere at the time. So I started playing football seriously again. And I was thinking about just playing football and trying to go to college to play that. But then my junior year, basketball started taking off, and I stopped playing football and I started working on it full time.
All right, so now we know the story about how you really got into basketball. Let's talk about this season. We're not even into the summer yet, and this has been such a busy AAU season for you with the New York Rens. What has this season been like getting back onto the court playing in the AAU?
I mean, it's great. Like I'm happy that these guys took me in. Like everybody in there is mad cool. Like there's no like, oh, I want this. Like certain people wanted a certain amount of shots. Like any game, anybody could go up for 30. Like it's just, I mean, playing with them, like just having that much talent around you. I mean, it just makes everything so much easier.
Word. And like I said, Dom, when I first brought you in, your name's been buzzing. I feel like every time I refresh my Twitter, I see something about, Dominick Barlow, whether it's, Adam Zagoria, Andrew Slater, the New York Rens page. What has recruiting looked like for you over the past 2 or 3 months? Anything you can tell us in terms of schools that have been in contact with you or that may have extended offers?
Yeah. Rutgers has been in contact with me. St. John's been in contact with me. Pitt and Providence, they offered, like, I would say about a month ago. And then there's a couple of schools, Wake Forest, they've been in contact. So, I mean, it's definitely been like, from not talking to college coaches 2 years ago to having those schools, I mean, it's definitely something.
So you have absolutely taken off. Like you just said, you had those 2 Power 6 offers in the span of about 3 weeks. What has changed from 2 years ago that you were talking to no colleges now to talking to these top schools?
I mean, just probably putting the work in, just taking the initiative on that. Like, if somebody would call me for a workout, I would go. But now I call my trainer. I'm like, "Bro, let's get in the gym today." Like, just making sure I'm eating right, doing everything I need to do. Like, it's like I used to think of basketball as more of like a hobby, but now like I'm trying to think of it as almost a profession.
Respectfully. Now, Dom, and it may be still early in the swing of things, considering you guys haven't really played like an official, showcase or weekend in front of college coaches as a team. Any insight you can give us in terms of what next year looks like for you, and from a prep perspective, or any insights there, or is that still up in the air?
I mean, I'm down to 2 schools right now. I'm probably gonna decide that in like 2 weeks, so I'll definitely let y'all know when I figure that out. But just trying to find a good fit where I'm just improving myself all around.
Word. Well, I'll say, is that everything you got?
Yeah, I mean, we got the background. Now we've heard about Dominick's basketball career right now, but I have one last question. What are your goals? Just, you were playing football, you didn't know what basketball was going to give you in life. Now, what are your goals going forward?
I mean, my goal right now to win Peach Jam. That's probably the goal right now. And then just try to go to the best college like I can go to, get a good education there, and then try to become a pro.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Dom, we really do appreciate you taking some time out to chop it up with us. Hopefully it goes without saying, but I'll definitely be, keeping my eyes peeled to everything going on in your world. Best of luck with AAU. Best of luck with your decision for next season. And, if anything, you could always reach out to me. So, we're going to talk.
Gotcha, bro.
All right, bro. Be good.
Thank you.
All right, so that wraps it up for Dominick Barlow. Now, Justin, we have a lot to talk about. Obviously, Dominick I see Dynamic Dom in the comments right now, and he really is. He's like a 6'8" guard that can really do everything on the floor. We'll transition now into the high school world is completely changing with professional league, the overtime elite league, and then today, the new league between the top private schools in the country was announced: Montverde, Oak Hill, Sunrise Christian. Justin, what are your thoughts on all of these things taking place in the high school basketball world?
Oh man, it's in the wise words of the CC show, there's a lot going on right now in the basketball world. But yeah, to Mike's point, you guys may have seen the press release earlier today, but ESPN had released a story, essentially, to Mike's point, sharing that there was I believe a group of 6 schools, like Mount Verde, Oak Hill, Lalu, Wasatch Academy, and a couple of others who are essentially going to be joining and creating their own league, which caught a lot of people by surprise. And, you know, when I think of that dynamic, you know, it's got obvious benefits in a sense that, you know, you got a bunch of teams that can compete against each other. It also kind of presents I guess, a disruption to where, you know, the overtime elite league was going in terms of, you know, offering kids an opportunity to, you know, perform within their league, receive, you know, their training, you know, their whole curriculum. But there's definitely pluses and minuses to both sides. You know, I definitely like the idea of the high level of competition within the elite national league. You know, obviously within the overtime league, there's the financial incentive, but the drawback there is, you know, you could compromise your eligibility. And it's funny, there was a head basketball coach from a New Jersey school who had posted something last week, and I picked his brain, and, you know, generally speaking, I'd ask, you know, what are your thoughts? And he made a good point, in a sense that, you know, there's obvious benefits. Again, obviously the financial gain, which, you know, for some, I hope, you know, isn't a short-sighted decision. But there's still a lot of unknowns. And I was talking to somebody from that company, the Overtime Elite, or Overtime, more specifically. And, you know, without putting them out there, you know, they kind of corroborated that idea that, you know, there's so many unknowns. Again, obvious benefits, but, you know, when you think about, you know, compromising your amateurism, and everything that goes into that in terms of not being able to compete at the D1, D2, D3 level, there's a lot that you give up. Not even so much on the court, but, you know, just in terms of life. You know, college is an experience, which in my opinion shouldn't be taken for granted, and also which in my opinion you can't put a price tag on. But again, I get it. I think more recently there was an article I read last week where the kid, I think he's from the South, Scoot Henderson, and hopefully I'm not getting this wrong, but I think he was the first person to sign like a 7-figure deal with Overtime. And hey, let's call a spade a spade. You know, a lot of people aren't going to see $1 million in their lifetime. So I get it. I just hope that people look at it, you know, look at the big picture, weigh out the pros and the cons, and understand, you know, everybody's dynamic. And Dave just confirmed for me, Scooter Henderson from Georgia. And Dave, stick around. I'm going to tap you in a second. But you know, it makes you wonder. And again, you know, everybody's situation is different. But I guess the question is, you know, is it worth it? Not only financially, but in terms of what you're giving up in terms of life experiences, and also your ability to, again, compete at the D1, D2, D3 level. What about you, Mike? Any thoughts on the league, or which side you're leaning towards, Overtime Elite versus the Elite National League?
Yeah, so before we bring some people in to hear their opinions, I'm pretty sure Scoot Henderson reclassed up and is going to the G League, like Jonathan Kuminga and Jalen Green.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I got that. Oh,
these twins from Florida, Matt and Ryan Booley, are just
that's who I meant. I'm sorry, that's who I meant. My apologies. I mixed up.
Overtime Elite. And to your point, it's not normal for a high school kid to make over $1 million to go do what they love on the national stage. So there's definitely something there that you can make money that you won't make playing in college. but that could always change. So all these leagues right now, they're going to make you more money, but everything is changing so quickly. So I think it's better to just wait it out, play your high school basketball, and then see where that takes you.
Absolutely. So what we didn't mention, Mike, was this is we're going to call this part of the podcast the hot seat. And what we'd like to do is, we've said our part, but we want to get some feedback from you guys. So what we're going to do over the next 5-10 minutes is just tap you guys in. And real quickly, if you could just kind of get to the point, if you're a high level athlete and you had the opportunity to choose between, the overtime elite course or the National Elite League, which direction would you go and why? And we're going to start out with my guy, Dave Cordova, over from Dave's joint, a good friend of mine. Dave, what's the word?
Josh, what's going on? How you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain.
Dave, I trust you're up to speed with the topic at hand.
Yeah, it's shocking, everything that's going down, the deals that are being made. It's a lot to take in, especially with Scooter Henderson, having watched him play multiple times down in Georgia. Like, the kid is legit, you know what I'm saying? 1 in a million type of player. So I hope that this G League thing is going to be good for him, because he's good. It would have been great to have seen him play another year of high school ball or another year of AAU ball with Game Elite, but
did we lose
$1
Dave?
million is amazing.
I have a loading symbol.
I'm sorry, Dave. We lost you for a second. So, Dave, you're a pretty tall dude. You played basketball in your younger days. Assuming every college coach is knocking on your door, overtime's knocking on your door. Which would you, if you had Kevin Boyle on one hand, and overtime Larry and the overtime elite league on the other hand, which route are you going and why?
Honestly, I would go to school. Because, like you mentioned, there's nothing more important than an education, and an education is gonna value you. It's gonna be a vehicle for you for the rest of your life, or at least if you spend 1 year in college, at least that will be worth it. Whereas this league, right now it's an upstart. We don't know how far it's gonna go or if it's gonna last. So the quick money, I can understand why these kids are taking it, but you gotta think long term.
Yep, absolutely. Appreciate that, Dave, and appreciate you. And we're going to talk soon.
Indeed. All right, guys. Later.
All right, man. Be good. Let's see. We got anybody else out there? Again, this is y'all opportunity to say your 2 cents. Again, assuming you're a high major athlete, you got Kevin Boyle on line 1, overtime on line 2. Are you going to go the Elite National League route, or are you going to go the overtime route? And again, if y'all send in a request, I will be able to punch you in. My man Brooke Spick says, get your money. Let's see. Big Nino said, that's money that's going to change your family life. So again, you got to hear both sides, got to see both sides. Again, everybody's situation is different. Let's see. The Patrick School National said the Elite National League to the G League to the NBA. It seems that's their. It seems they think that is the path to proficiency. So a few different perspectives for sure. Let's see. The study of hoops said, quick money is cool, but are you going to use it the correct way?
I like that take, because these are high school kids, so maybe they're not mature enough when they're getting $1 million to go play basketball. That's a good point.
No, that's a really good point. Let's see.
And I think I saw Kevin Boyle, the head coach at Montverde, said that kids should go to college for a year and then go to the NBA, that at least a year of college is going to help them further their education and basketball career, and then they can go play professionally.
Absolutely. Here, looks like Brooks 6 just sent me a Brooks. Hey, my guy, what's good with you? Where
What's
you
going
from?
on, guys? How you doing?
Where you from?
I'm from Broadway, but I'm actually in DR right now. That's why I
Okay.
wasn't at Southern Jam Fest. I saw you at New England Jam Fest,
Yeah, that's right.
and
Yeah,
we
yeah. Oh,
we
my man. Okay, I
chopped it
didn't know
up a
that was
little
you.
bit.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
chopped it up. We
yeah,
chopped it up.
um,
Westford.
yeah,
But yeah, top
absolutely.
of your
Just
head,
again, the
overtime
funny
elite
thing is,
versus the elite national. Which route would you go and why?
I'll be honest with you, I would probably go to the overtime National League because I actually took a look at their staff at hand. They have a lot of former players and people that are in high places, not only in the basketball level, but financially. I know we always talk about how long are you going to be able to sustain your money. I actually work in finance, so I know that's really important at hand, to be quite honest with you. But with those tools that they're giving the kids, it's not like the 30 for 30. Why did you go broke? Everybody's really hip to that. Everybody wants to do the LeBron thing, the KD thing, get into tech, get in those type of investments. So again, I think these kids are a lot smarter than I know when I was a lot younger. Or again, some of these players that grew up in the 80s and early 90s, well, 70s and 80s.
So as a finance major, or as a finance professional, I should say rather, um, is there an amount of money that's not worth it? Like if somebody signs like $100,000, if a 17, 18-year-old kid signs like $100,000 contract, or maybe let's say a $250,000 contract at 17 to 18, is that worth it?
Put it like this: on a yearly basis, they say the amount of the amount of difference that you get from making $120,000 a year to $1 million a year is minute. So I feel like if you're bringing in again $250,000 guaranteed on a yearly basis, you can sustain that with
So not a
endorsements.
yearly basis, but let's say 2-year contract, 250,000. Does that change anything?
Guaranteed. I think honestly, guaranteed, depending on again your draft status. Again, everyone looks into it. I honestly think you got to take that money. A lot of these kids are coming from poverty, and when I say poverty, uh, parents making less than $40,000 a year, supporting multiple children. That money with the right resources can truly change somebody's life. Again, a 10% return again on that type of money systemically, honestly, it's a lot of money for some of these people. As long
Yeah.
as you don't blow it going and trying to buy all the drip and everything like
Yeah.
that, you're in a good spot.
Absolutely. Hey, brother, I really do appreciate you tapping in. It was great running into you last week in New England, and we're going to talk soon.
Absolutely. You guys take care.
Likewise, you too, bro. Be good.
Yeah, so I like it. We're getting different opinions about the Elite National League, and it looks like we'll have even more to listen to.
Yep. I think we got one more. I don't know if he's still out there. I think he looks like the invite is pending. Julio, let's see, Cesar Gomez. Looks like he declined. But I'm sorry, Mike, I cut you off.
So, I mean, I was just saying how there's a lot of positives and negatives to both of these. The Elite National League, it's all high schoolers, so the competition is equal, but you only get to play 7 other teams, I think it is. So it's something that you don't normally see in high school. You're usually playing local and national teams if you're on that level. So the Elite National League was a newly formed, basically a college conference in high school between the top private schools in the country. They'll go and play against each other. And then the Overtime Elite League, it's completely changing high school basketball. These kids are getting over $1 million. The facilities are beautiful. They have staff on hand at all times. So there are positives, there are negatives. You don't get education if you do go to that league, and we have more
Hi.
coming.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Where y'all from?
I'm from Korea.
Hey,
Where are you from?
Korea on the check-in. That's crazy. Are you familiar with the topic at hand? Overtime elite versus the elite national league.
What?
So which would you go? Overtime league or the elite league?
스포츠 스쿨.
I'm sorry.
스쿨.
Elite.
스쿨.
You would go to school.
School. Yep. That's something I can agree with. Get the education and then move on.
Absolutely. Yo, shouts to Korea. How far are you from Seoul, Korea?
머리.
Are you guys near Seoul? Do you live anywhere near Seoul, Korea?
코리안?
I'm sorry?
안녕하세요.
Okay.
안녕하세요.
Doctor is Korea.
Okay.
Doctor is Korea.
Nice. Hey, man.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Take it easy.
We go
Appreciate
study.
you guys checking in.
Yes. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow.
All right, so we are getting opinions from
We
all across the
are
world.
we're officially global. We're officially global, Mike. We got another one. We're gonna do this for another 10 minutes. It's 7:35 now. Playoffs started at 7. I think the game started at 7:30, so I want to be mindful of that. Let me see. We got a few more invites coming in. Let's see what people got to say. Shouts to Korea, man. Over from New Jersey to Korea. That's crazy. We are officially global. Let me see. Hollywood Naj. I just sent the request. Hollywood Naj.
All right, so while we have a little dead time, just want to remind everyone, we're going to do this every single episode. So maybe if you're not familiar with this topic, come back next week, and we'll be talking about a lot more. The hot seat will feature a lot of people, get their opinions.
Hollywood Naj, I tried to add you. I don't know what happened. We got another person. Let me see. We got Matthew, Wavy Matt 2024 on the check-in. Matt, where are you from?
I'm from Jersey.
You from where?
Jersey.
Okay, we're more specifically.
Like Bergen County.
Okay. Shouts to Bergen County. So, overtime elite league or elite national league, and why?
Elite national. There's more competition.
You said more competition?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little more in terms of what?
That's the one with like the 17, right?
Yes.
Because like you're gonna play versus the best people in the country, like a lot, and the exposure is better.
Word. Well, Matt, appreciate you tapping in. We appreciate your perspective, and make sure you tap back in with us next week.
All right,
bro. Let's
Very
see.
good point from Matt. The exposure, because not only exposure, competition right now, the Overtime Elite League has 2 people committed, so it could die off. We never know. As with the Elite National League, it's already certified. There's already 8 teams that will be playing in it, so there's definitely the level of competition.
Yeah, and they essentially did that last season. I think this past season rather, was kind of like a pilot in a sense that they were able to iron out the kinks. I think the one thing that a lot of people aren't talking about, and I noticed there were a lot of comments on my post, was just with regards to the potential, conflict of interest, if you will. And I won't go too deep down the rabbit hole, but there were comments on the post alluding to, just schools and coaches and other parties benefiting from like the advertising or similar similar things that the NCAA does in terms of monetizing amateur sports. So that's one angle people haven't really I guess in terms of people that have been on our live, that they haven't really addressed that. So that's another angle to consider. But let's see. Well, I don't think we have any more guests in the lobby, Mike, but this definitely made for a good dry run. Any final thoughts from you before we wrap up?
So every week we're doing this. We'll have the hot seat. People can come in, say their opinion, ask questions. whether it's a topic that we'll have beforehand or if you bring a topic and want us to address it and you can give your take, we're definitely open to that. Make sure you use your day to get the 20% off all the merch on njhooprecruit.com. But this was a great first episode of Hoop Recruit Radio.
Like my guy Mike said, make sure y'all take advantage of the 20% off at the web store, njhooprecruit.com. Use discount code one word merch Monday for 20% off your next order. We got some more content coming this week. I'm dropping a YouTube video tomorrow. Doug McDaniels versus DJ Wagner. We're going to give the people a recap of that team takeover versus scholars matchup at Hoop Group. More merch on the way, more content on the way, more videos on the way, more podcasts on the way. If y'all haven't done so yet, make sure you tap in with Hoop Recruit Radio. That's going to be kind of the foundation where we index all of these interviews, lives, playlists, etc. But Mike, as always, it's a pleasure. Looking forward to same time, same place, and looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. Everyone join us next Monday.
My man.
All right.
Take care, brother.
You too.
All right, we out of here, baby.